Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M by 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator technology startups in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we do these free mentoring roundtables week after week after week, month after month, year after year. We started back in 2008. And today we are doing the 669th session of this free mentoring roundtables. So long journey. And it's been a real privilege working with so many entrepreneurs from so many different parts of the world. I'm normally based in Silicon Valley. Tonight I'm dialing in from Calcutta, India. So it's nighttime here, 9:30 p.m. And for those of you who will be pitching today or on a later date, remember this is a safe working session. So you don't need to be defensive. You don't need to be nervous. We're just going to brainstorm about your strategy and try to help you remove roadblocks, accelerate your journey. If you disagree with my feedback, that's fine. It's your venture. At the end, you will do whatever you want to do with your venture. We're going to start today with Anuj Agrawal from Bangalore, India. Anuj, please unmute your line and let's get started.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, I'm Anuj, and I'm a co-founder at Angoor AI. So Angoor AI is basically a generative AI powered business co-pilot cum CRM platform. Please go to the next slide. I'll briefly introduce the team. So we are three founders, graduated from IIT Bombay, and we are currently a team of five, with Saral as the founding engineer. Um, and we started Angoor AI almost a year back, on October 2023, and we have been building this product since then. Please go to the next slide. So the problem statement that we are targeting is that, specifically for D2C customers, consumers that have a lot of their users coming in from different channels, they have to onboard like 6 to 20 platforms or even more as they scale to cater to different use cases, different channels, and different demographics. So that leads to a lot of overspending and mismanagement of data, and it leads to a fragmented management of all the data across different operations, and that leads to a lot of inefficiencies and SaaS spending issues. Please go to the next slide. So what we are offering is a unified data interface that handles all your customers under a single platform. So it basically, when we see the current generative AI landscape, all the incumbents are targeting the business tools that they have, the CRM platforms, the ERP platforms, and all the startups are targeting the channels, like specifically channels. But we are at like focusing more on the CRM and CDP space, where like we believe that bringing this data together can lead to a lot of like firstly automation like opportunities, given the generative AI landscape that's developing in the market, and as well as increased efficiencies and reduced errors that lead to a lot of that are like that grow dramatically as the number of user base increases for any brand or consumer, like a B2C company. Please go to the next slide. So how we do it is through a ground up approach for generative AI powered platforms. So we treat data very separately from all the configuration logic, and that leads to a lot of efficiencies, and it basically brings the platform on par with creating SOPs for like departments and like operating on a department level. So our approach is again mainly powered towards enabling multi-stakeholder interactions, because even in a D2C there are a lot of stakeholders from logistics to finance to like return customer support and things like that. So that needs a multi-stakeholder powered generative AI environment that can cater to all the requirements for running LLM powered agents or API tools or like your custom models, anything like that. So please go to the next slide. We offer like a lot of integrations as is required by a CRM platform or a CDP platform, and we support majorly like a lot of features around customer support, sales, and marketing. So all the ticket management, conversation management, and like business automation support we provide to B2C companies to so that they can manage all of their consumer platforms. Like it's a lot like Salesforce. When you see, you can go to the next slide. Please go to the next slide. So currently, we are building this. We have been like we have started building this product 1 year ago, and then we got like meta partnerships. So we got become meta partners. So we got access to all the APIs for WhatsApp, Instagram, Messenger, and now we have onboarded a few customers in India and currently are targeting US GTM. So like our future plans include adding marketing support as well, so that consumers can even complete we get control of the complete journey from marketing to customer like engagement, retargeting, and all of that. And by the end of this year, we are targeting a system that can basically create new features for the companies based on the information stack and the business logic stack that we have developed um, over the past year, and reach up to a point where they can build their own generative features on the platform. Please go to the next slide. Yeah, so the competitive landscape looks something like it's very much like Salesforce, Microsoft, that have like the enterprise CRM market leadership, but we're targeting more on the mid market, and like we see all the competitors for virtual employees, customer support, marketing, and like CRM, operating like creating these AI automations. And DevRev is a good validation for us because DevRev also operates on a customer support and product management like unification kind of an industry. So we are based.
So Anuj,
Yeah.
this, are you calling this your competition slide?
Yes.
This is your most important slide,
Okay.
and it's totally unclear. I don't understand who your competition is. If you're saying your competition is Salesforce, Microsoft, uh, what are you saying? Are you saying that you have all the CRM functionality, all the marketing automation functionality? You also then have Oracle, you have Adobe. There are a lot of competitors in that space.
Yes.
So how do you stand out? What's your USP?
Yeah. So I totally understand that Salesforce, Microsoft, Oracle are like big companies, and
And you won't be able to compete with them.
yeah, definitely. So that's just a parallel that we take because when we researched in the market, we found out that in a typical journey for a B2C company, they as they grow, they start onboarding like these different platforms from 6 to 20 platforms, and once they have reached a 22 like a Series B or Series C stage, they ultimately go to a Salesforce platform where they can like integrate all of their data and do all of that. So we are targeting like a similar USP, but for a mid market, so that we can get a GTM, and then we can scale on horizontally on the CRM platform.
So you've said a number of different things here. You're saying B2C. So are you trying to only create a product that works for B2C companies?
No, so our current GTM is targeted toward B2C companies because we see the scale of consumers that they have. So that
So Salesforce is not a B2C. Salesforce does not cater to B2C companies.
yes, yes, I understand that, but yeah, they're mainly technical parallels. But yeah, I totally understand.
Technical parallel is irrelevant.
Okay, yeah,
We're talking about positioning.
right.
What you have to really get a very clear positioning that works. So what I'm finding a little bit promising here is that if your technology is particularly suited to B2C companies, that could be the beginning of a positioning. So tell me more about so you should take out all this Salesforce. Salesforce is not a competitor.
Right.
If your target audience, if your target customer base are B2C companies, then Salesforce is not your competitor.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So who is your competitor? Who dominates the B2C CRM marketing automation market?
Like there are CRMs like Bird, and other platforms like Freshworks, HubSpot. Segment is mainly CDP space. So yeah, and we have like virtual employee companies like Artisan, Emma, Lumini, which are like also targeting to B2C companies and like B2B companies for sales, customer support, and marketing.
So you need to understand your competitor base really well. Otherwise, you will not be able to sell very smoothly into this market.
Okay, yes, makes sense.
All right, so I'll leave it at that. Tighten up your competitive landscape and competitive positioning. I haven't really understood your competitive positioning.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll work on it. For sure. So should I move ahead? Further?
Yeah, move ahead. And again, you shouldn't be saying we are working with mid B2B and D2C brands because those are two different animals. Because if you're talking about mid B2B, you're going to run into Zoho, for example.
Yes. Yes. So actually, we also got this feedback that targeting two big, different ICPs is not a good idea. But
No, it's not. It's a very bad idea.
yes. So we are currently only targeting, like experimenting with the ICP, and like once we have already got a customer in the B2C space, but we were just experimenting as a startup, like before, because we were also not sure about where our product could have more value. So it was morely a part of our experimentation. But yeah, we have a few customers in the B2C space. So I guess and that's why I'm more focusing on the B2C side.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what the year looks like for us. So we had we got a rough ICP validation. We closed early pilots. We have we are currently planning to start kickstart the USGTM planning and get a fundraise right now. And once we are currently targeting for getting a pilot in the US and raising funds so that we can kickstart the USGTM with full force, and targeting 200K ARR by Q3 of this year.
Okay.
Please go to the next slide. So this is how our business model, our revenue looks like. So the current client that we have closed lies in the 50K US dollar ARR range in India, but we are targeting even more subscription revenue from US clients. So this is
How many
yeah,
how many clients have you closed in India right now?
one client, and who
One.
are
One that is about a 50K ARR.
yeah, 40 to 50K. Yes.
And that's a B2C company?
Yes, B2C company, D2C company actually.
Why don't you go get 10, 20 B2C companies in India? Forget US GTM right now and tighten up your positioning. Understand what is your ideal customer profile, what is the value you deliver to D2C companies. Because right now,
Mm,
you're saying you want to go to the US. US customer acquisition is more expensive.
yes,
You're an Indian company.
yes.
I don't recommend it. I think you should. There are plenty of D2C brands that are doing very well in India. Go get 10, 20, 30, even 50 of those and build up an Indian business, B, a complete understanding of what is it that you're selling. You don't know what you're selling right now. You're experimenting with ICP. Well, get that experimentation done in India before you go out to do a US GTM. Understand what that GTM is. What is the product that you're selling? What is the value proposition? Without that, there's no need to spend that extra customer acquisition money.
Okay. I actually got we got some feedback that targeting Indian companies, even if you build a product for the Indian market, the TAM is not
No,
that
you
much.
don't have to. You don't have to build the product for the Indian market, but D2C in India and D2C in America is no different.
Okay.
The problem statement for CRM for D2C in India is the same problem statement as D2C in America. So what you want to do is build the product, understand what needs to be built, build that, get some reference customers, get some revenue going, and get your positioning tightened up before you go out to America.
Okay.
Because you can't really spray and pray in America. It's very expensive.
Okay.
So you need to understand what you're going after and why.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So
Definitely
this
makes
this
sense. Yeah.
model of working on Indian companies first, getting your product built and validated, and then selling in the United States or in Europe is a well understood model. All the Indian investors understand that. All the Silicon Valley investors in the US India corridor understand that. So there's no problem
Okay.
with this model.
Sure. Definitely that makes sense. And yeah, for sure.
And if you need help with your positioning, you can join 1M by 1M. We can help you figure that out.
Okay. Yeah. Totally makes sense.
What is missing here is positioning. Your positioning is kind of not good.
Okay. Makes sense. So
And
yeah.
by
Yeah.
the way, all of you who are listening, you do not need to quote how much equity you are giving up for money you are raising. That is not up to you to decide. That is up to the investors to decide. What valuation you're going to raise money at is not something you put on slides in an investor pitch.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. We can ask more questions later. Let me talk to the other two presenters, and then you can ask more questions. We may have more time. And I will explain how to use 1M by 1M at the end. Good. So Anuj, you're done. Ali Rizvi, San Carlos, California. Please unmute the line, Ali, and let's get going.
Sure. Good morning, or I guess good evening to you, Srimana. Love the mission, by the way, helping 1 million entrepreneurs. We can go to the next slide. I'll just provide a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Ali Rizvi, co-founder of the company. My background is pretty deep and steep in financial operations from a finance and accounting perspective. In fact, I'm a CPA. So I've sat, I've worked at Ernst & Young, auditing public companies, private companies, as well as at KPMG. And I've sat in the seat of a CFO, primarily for early stage and mid-stage companies. So I have a unique perspective on the problem I'm about to describe. Yeah, thank you. And just as a sort of, it's not a caveat, but this deck that I'm going to present, it's not our entire deck. I wanted to truncate it just specifically for this presentation to get some feedback from you. So anyway, let me describe the problem. I'll describe it just as quickly as I can. It's in 3 slides, but ultimately it's bookings to cash, and really what is that? We believe the problem for B2B SaaS companies, primarily smaller ones, companies that are under 50 million in ARR, are within customer contracts. And why is that? Well, because customer contracts for B2B companies, they have highly variable commercial terms. For example, unique pricing exists in contracts. There's one-off negotiated clauses that are stuck in there. There are often very unusual start and end dates. There can be multiple products being sold in a particular contract over various timeframes. And all of these things are touching, as you can see on this slide. It begins with a contract, but it's, how do you record the value of a booking? How do you do the billing? Is it monthly? Is it annually? Who records the revenue, and how do you record the revenue? Do you spread it? Do you show it all in 1 month? And then there's the cash collection, and then of course this all renews again. The whole cycle just continues month over month over month, year over year. Please go to the next slide. And so the problem is exacerbated because each company who sells to their customers via contract, there are so many constituents that are doing this. Typically, it starts with sales, and then it ends up and lands up in finance, who has to process a lot of the financial elements within a contract. Customer success gets involved because they're involved with renewing contracts. Management needs to understand the value of those contracts. Investors need to understand how many of those contracts are generating ARR or other revenue. Cash, of course, is very important. Next slide, please. Yeah, and so what ends up happening is, you have all of these people, you have all of these different departments, all of them are having their own truth. For example, sales are using a CRM, Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever it might be. Finance is using an accounting system, NetSuite, QuickBooks as an example. And customer service is often using a different element. Everyone has their own data. And what ultimately happens, and we see this all the time, I've seen this all the time in my career, is that there's no single source of truth. And what we're seeing today is that there's a really big demand that people want to have somewhere that they can trust the data, and there's one source of truth. Next slide, please. So we've developed a solution. Again, our focus, as I mentioned earlier, is on the smaller of the SMB or the medium size under 50 million space. And we've built an application, and it's being sold today in the US that essentially is the connective tissue, and that's how we see ourselves. We connect the CRM and the ERP, and we do all of those things that process all of those things that I mentioned that are contained within customer contracts. Next slide, please. So we still think it's an MVP, to be honest. You're always sort of building a little bit, but we launched it at the end of 22, beginning of 23. Primarily bootstrapped. We've been selling it, still founder-led sales, but we have a good number of customers. We're growing. We've got a goal this year to 3x that. The thing that pleases us the most is we've got some really, really happy and satisfied customers. Our retention rates are pretty high. And very often we're getting unsolicited, like, hey, this is great. And not only that, I mean, we're checking our daily users, and most of the companies that are using us, this becomes really intertwined into the fabric of everything they do every single day or every single month. It's pretty cool to see it. Last slide, please. I think this is the last slide. The next one, yeah. So this is a competitive slide. I know, Sarmana, you just mentioned that this is one of the most important slides in a deck. It was sort of put together quickly. I did it over the last couple of days. We have something a lot more comprehensive, but our biggest competitors really in this space are other FinOps or revenue management tools. There's not a ton of them, but the space is really getting some attention, and it's growing. There's some big funding recently for a couple of companies that have raised a big amount of money. Those are our biggest competitive threats right now. The entrenched player in the space is a company called Maxio. They used to be called SAS Optics. They've raised a lot of money over the last 17, 18 years, but their product has really become kind of yesterday's product. So I think we've got some competitive advantages that help us. We're lean. We're right now price competitive. That's not the long-term strategy, but right now that is a strategy that's helping us acquire customers. So we've got some ideas there, and then we're looking at implementing AI to make the contract data ingestion into our system a lot faster than it is for any of our competitors. So that's it. I think that's it. I don't have an ask specifically. We're not actively raising funds, but we will be later this year. We're just trying to get our traction metrics a little bit in more of a positive way. But I think that's it. Please go to the next slide. Okay. Yes, that's it.
So, I love this slide, the traction slide, the fact that you have 60 plus customers, real revenues, growth, understanding of sales cycle, this is all great. So we can do a lot with that. When you have that, this slide is actually, it's something that you can derive. It is an important slide because, we're in 2025. So there's so much SaaS out there, right? You know this from your background. There's so much SaaS out there, and getting attention is really hard. So you have to really deeply understand what is your value, why you're unique, how do you differentiate with other products in the market. I mean, I know Maxio because Maxio is a portfolio of products, right? It's bought Chargify. It's it's kind of like a mishmash of different products. Presumably, because you're getting some traction, there is something unique in your product, and you have to really get into the heart of that and position your company accordingly, and that will make your sales easier, that will make your fundraising easier. Everything is going to become easier if you can really articulate what is different and what do other people not have.
Mm-hmm.
So I will encourage you to continue to fine-tune that. If you want help with that, that is this kind of stuff we do very well. You're welcome to join the program, and I will help you work that out. but it is going to be the most important thing, that the positioning of your company is going to be the most important thing that you're going to have to articulate. And one of the things you say here is that, growing month over month at 7%, fine. What does your projection look like? 5-year projection look like? 7-year projection look like? Can you show a trajectory of going from where you are to $100 million ARR in 5 to 7 years?
Mhm.
That is something you're going to have to show and you're going to have to defend, right? You can't just say that, oh, we're going to get to that kind of high velocity growth. You have to defend why and how, with what go-to-market strategy can you achieve that kind of growth. And that is the desired trajectory of a venture-funded startup. So if a VC decides to fund you, they have to believe that you can grow at that pace. The
Yeah,
other thing that you have to, yeah, please go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to say, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, we've been, I think positioning is probably where we need help, and we've spent so much time, really over the last 18 months, trying to think about how do we position ourselves, certainly against the two main kind of competitors that have raised a bunch of money recently. And there's a lot more to unpack than we can do, obviously, on this call. But one is positioning. Yeah.
Positioning is something we do very well. You can join the program and you'll have access to me on every week. So we can iterate. I'll give you homework. You can work that out, come back and discuss with me, and I will help you sort out your positioning. It's not going to take that long. And you have a lot of customers. So I'm pretty sure I will be able to extract what we need to extract out of that customer activity.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Yep. All right. The third pitch is Abu Bakr Pulat from Kerala. Abu, please unmute your line. All right, let's get started.
Yeah, myself Abu Bakr, completed master degree in computer application 2070. From 2080, I tried to implement one, but
We can't hear you, Abu. What's going on? Your audio is gone. Abu, can you fix your audio?
from 2023, I did one internship also in data science from World County University. Now I am planning to move UAE, that is DIFC, Dubai DIFC in Dubai. There I need to implement in derivative trading startup from starting with 1 million capital. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah, next slide. Okay, the Indian stock market daily transaction is around 1.25 crore transaction is happening every day by day. So it is a huge market. Can you move next slide? Okay, now actually my plan is to start trading in UAE, register company in UAE, and start trading in UAE with the capital 1 million. I already shared with you one demonstrated track record of 4 year that there I currently showing it is profit is getting 100% year by year.
So, Abu, I'm just kind of flipping through your slides. There's nothing in these slides that can raise money. Are you here because you are trying to raise money?
Yeah, actually the slide is I'm not properly prepared. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to prepare it is properly.
Yeah, it's clear that you don't know how to prepare an investor pitch or even kind of figure out how to do a startup. So if you just hang on for a moment, I'm going to explain to you how to use 1 million by 1 million, and I recommend that you join the program and learn how to do a startup, because you have a lot of learning to do and you need to do that efficiently and quickly. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn how to be an entrepreneur, and we can teach you that. So let me explain to you, and then all of you can ask more questions, okay?
Okay, sure.
So go to 1mby1m.com. Everything we offer is available virtually and on that website.
1
First and
million.
foremost, there is the premium program, which is our full acceleration program, where you get help with strategy consulting. All of you with whom we have talked about positioning, you're going to use that strategy consulting capability on a week by week basis, roundtable format like this. We will iterate, we will address your positioning issues and strategy issues. We do investor introductions. We definitely make investor introductions, but you have to first be ready before we can send you to investors. We have a terrific curriculum. So Abu, for sure, you need to do the 1M curriculum to learn how to be an entrepreneur. And you'll gain a lot. If you spend, let's say 50 to 100 hours intensely on the curriculum, you will come out of it with a lot more knowledge and you'll be much better prepared to take the next steps, appropriate next steps. And then we have influencer marketing as well. And Ali, for you, the stage in which you are, this is something that may be quite valuable for you as well in just kind of getting more customers. But first, let's do the positioning, then you avail of influencer marketing through the program. So that's all part of the premium program. If you just want to do curriculum, you can also do that by joining 1M Basic. So premium is $1,000 a year, basic is $99 a month. So go to the website, look around what to expect from basic, what to expect from premium, and so on. There is also private one-on-one consulting, but it is a lot more expensive. That's $1,000 per hour. So if you're really hung up on privacy and stealth and all of that, you can use that too, but it's more expensive. So free roundtables, you can only pitch once. So those of you who are listening, if you want to pitch, just sign up in the free registration roundtable page. We have roundtables every week, basically, one more in January and then 4 in February. So go ahead and book your slot and Maureen will assign you time on one of the sessions. If you have questions about the 1M program after this session, here today, you can ask me questions and I will answer. But if you have questions after the program, Irina Patterson is your contact. Her email is irina@1mby1m.com, and you can set up a time to talk to her as well on phone, WhatsApp, Skype, whatever you want. So now we can take more questions. If any of you have other questions, I'll be happy to answer. Yes, no? Anybody?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to double click on our last conversation, and because we have been like talking to a lot of investors in the recent months, and one of the major feedback that we got was to target the US market because of the TAM requirements and the scalability.
No, I'm not saying you will not target the US market. Your TAM is going to include the US market.
Okay. Yeah,
But
but
you have your positioning is not set. So if you try to target the US market now,
mhm.
you're going to fail.
Okay.
You've got to get the positioning sorted before you go target the US market. Your TAM is going to be a global TAM.
Okay.
So TAM, positioning and TAM are not the same. TAM is derived from positioning.
Okay.
So you have to, your TAM is going to be a global TAM, including the US market. What I'm saying is Get your positioning sorted out so that you understand your product. Right now, you don't understand your product, and that's a problem.
Okay. Okay.
And no investor, if you're talking to good investors, no investor is going to invest in a company that doesn't understand its positioning.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're not getting traction with the investors.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a reason why you're not getting traction with the investors. You need to sort out your positioning.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Makes sense. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Srimana,
Anybody else?
Yeah, one quick question for me, and I mean, interested in joining the the roundtable, so I think I'll take you up on that. But the thing that we've been thinking about a lot is because we've been primarily bootstrapping, we have a little bit of institutional VC money, but it's it's just on SAFE, very small. But there's two trains of thought. One is go the traditional VC route. There's different expectations. There's a different way, as you mentioned earlier, how to position it such that you can grow to some huge, multiple of ARR, get to 100 million plus. But what about the other side, potentially? Maybe it's not the other side, but it's a different side, which is trying to find those investors that almost like PE, but not totally PE, almost like a cross between PE and VC, where the return might be more along the lines of a 5x return, but the idea is grow the company to a certain ARR, say for example 10 million or 15, and then just position for an exit, at that ARR. I mean, what do you
That's
see?
not PE at all. Those are PE investors don't invest in such companies. So that's also a type of VC. We call it bootstrapping to exit.
Yeah.
And within bootstrapping, we account for a class of investors who work with very capital efficient principles, basically bootstrapping principles, but with a small amount of capital, and then basically go for an exit. And we're fine working with that. We've done that. We've done that with a lot of companies in our portfolio. I believe in that. I like that. So that's fine. We can definitely position you for that.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would say in a market like what you're going after, that may be a better strategy than trying to do a 0 to 100 million in 5 to 7 years.
I agree.
So, yeah, good thinking. Anybody else? All right, folks, we are going to see you next week. Everybody who's listening, if you need a slot, just register and Maureen will find you a slot. Thank you for coming. I will see you next time. Bye.
No.